Hoping you all are very, very well and very good. Today, I'm Shrey FC, and today I'm bringing you another episode of Controversial Football Takes, episode number 2. And today I'm joined by a very, very special guest. He's Sportzwire, a fellow Chelsea fan like me. And today I'm going to grill him with some tough questions and going to see his opinions on what he thinks and what he prefers in the particular questions. And just as we start every video, I'll request you all to go towards the guest channel, subscribe on the channel, click on the bell notification button, and support their channel. So, how are you doing, VJ Chelsea?
Yeah, so my name is Vijay, and I'm from India. Doing good, all good. Things are going good for Chelsea Football Club as well. Transfer market is being silent. That's a worrying sign, but yeah, all in all, good days.
Yeah, that's very good to hear. So, welcome to Mighty Blues FC in the chat. It's very, very good to see you. And he has also got a fantastic channel. So, do go there and subscribe to his channel. So, straight away coming to the first question today, VJ. And I'm going to grill you hard in this tough questions today. So, the first question that I'm going to put you on is, I think, starting with a more easier one. Will you prefer winning a Champions League title like our team did in this May 29 last year, or will you prefer your team lifting the Premier League title and winning a league trophy?
Um, I'd say Champions League. I prefer Champions League over that. See, the reason why I say that, do you want a reason, or is it fine if I just give you the answer?
Yeah, has preferred by you.
All right. So for me, I understand Premier League shows consistency, and League Cup along with it is a definitely a good start. But with respect to Champions League, I think it's more of a European challenge where you get to interact and probably defeat teams of different playing styles across Europe. So when you win that, it means that you're actually the king of Europe, which Chelsea Football Club right now is, and you've played teams, the best teams across multiple countries, and then you win the tournament. That always has a better value than winning your own league. But of course, it doesn't downplay the league, but I still prefer Champions League because qualifying to that competition itself is not something everyone can do, and winning that is even more precious.
I think the words you spoke at the last, the king of Europe. I think that was absolutely spot on. And for me, see, just putting in a summary on because I think you're absolutely spot on. I agree with you. But I do get some people and see playing a bit of devil advocate here, like many people say. I think VJ, many people have seen you. You have seen many people saying that is a cup competition. It's more good to win the league. You are more of a king of the league in 38 game competition, while cup competitions are surprises, winning on one and off day. So, what's your opinion on that? That does be winning cup competitions decreases importance because it's knockout rather than a league?
First thing is respect to the teams that win the league competitions. That never has to be downplayed because it's not very easy to win that because throughout a year you probably have to be consistent if you have to get anywhere near the title race, right? And teams like Manchester City or any of the English teams, right, when they win it, they are even more precious than the other leagues because they don't have a Christmas break or anything of that sort. The English league in specific, right? Um, he says is I'm unable to be seen. Okay, I don't know what's wrong.
Yeah, your
Which
logo is in. Yeah, now it's fine.
all right, that's good. So yeah, what I was trying to say is winning league competition, all of it is completely fine, but the josh that you get when you win the Champions League, right? That's really great. That moment, right? That's the moment, and that's something that proves you're the kings of Europe, not just the England, right, or UK. And that's why I feel winning that would be a bit more better. But I completely understand from what perspective people are coming to when they say winning 38 games, of course, is the challenge, and it has its own challenge. I'm not gonna lie, it's got its own challenge, but at the same time, the Champions League is something that's even more precious for us because we, as Chelsea fans, always rejoice cup competitions because we've been quite successful in that, and we've had a very good history on that. So I think I'd place Champions League one step higher than the league, but I'd love to have both of it if given an option.
I think first of all, a big thank you to Almighty Blues Cricket for supporting the channel, and I'm absolutely agreed with Vijay. And Vijay, the thing is, the biggest thing that I do want to say to finish it off everything in this debate is I think I'll much rather being prefer to be a king of Europe, beating the likes of Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, Inter Milan, your Bayern Munich, and everything. Where has the league? Let's be very honest. It's about beating Norwich, Aston Villa, Burnley, taking the maximum points out of them because league is not about being the best among them. Because I remember when we won the title under Antonio Conte, we weren't very good against the bigger size, but we took the maximum point against the bottom sides. And as much as league title is so good to win, but there are so many people that downplay the victory of Bayern Munich in Bundesliga, saying it's Farmers League and all this stuff. Say what you like, but the kings of Europe when you win the Champions League, you are the kings of Europe, which means you're the king of a particular continent. While when you win one trophy, you are just king of that particular place. So for me, I'll always prefer a Champions League. But people who don't agree with this, that's up to your opinion. Do give your opinion in the comment section that why do you disagree with that, and we can chat according to that. And here, Almighty Blues Cricket absolutely agrees with us that you will take CL title over a Premier League, but everybody has their opinion. And see here, we are just giving our opinion. We're not bashing anyone. If you have a difference of opinion, do put it in the chat below, and we'll chat regarding that. So on that, VJ, I absolutely agree with you on that regards. And now, moving on to the second question for today, and that is going to be a bit more harder, and that is Musa Dembele of Tottenham Hotspur versus Mario Kovacic of our own team. So, VJ, you know that these two players are very hard to protect. These two players are just so beautiful to watch. But if you have to pick one, which one will you pick if you have to pick your own team?
Wait, which Dembele is that? I thought it was Usman
Musa Dembele
Dembele.
of Tottenham.
Musa Dembele of Tottenham, is it?
Yeah.
All right. I mean, Kovacic any day, buddy. It's not even a comparison there. Kovacic any day. The way that he dribbles fast. I always, like, a lot of people ask me when I go on streams, right? I always call him Croatian Messi. It's probably because of the ability to dribble past that midfield area and go to that attacking phase, and he does that brilliantly. He shows his experience, he shows his class, he shows what it is to be a midfielder in a top Premier League club, and he's got a good history as well, playing in Real Madrid and Inter Milan before coming and joining Chelsea Football Club, and he always shows the experience and the way that he's able to come out of pressure situations, because midfielders generally are put into pressure by other teams, and in our midfield three is not a again put into the same kind of pressure, right? But then the way that Kovacic comes out of that pressure shows his class completely, and I think Kovacic wins this battle for me. I mean, yeah, you could say that Dembele has a bit of he has a different character as a midfielder than what Kovacic has. But I think whatever Kovacic possesses is sort of a requirement. And when he does that to the best, he automatically becomes the best midfielder amongst these two.
I think I have to fully agree with you on there, but I just have to put one opinion here, if you because I was following the season of Musa Dembele at Tottenham Hotspur, the 15-16 season, the season where all the chaos happened with Tottenham Hotspur, like everything was just stunning. So first of all, I will love to share a stat here. If just I can do it, 1 minute. Share screen of first of all this season of Mateo Kovacic, because he has been just fabulous this season, Mateo Kovacic, and I think this has been his most productive season, I think, if we can remember. And with Mateo Kovacic, if this season we see his stats, then this season he has been just absolutely fabulous. If you can see his stats this season, in 12 appearances, he has had 2 goals, 5 assists, and in-depth stats for above, he has had 2.5 tackles per game. He has had 0.9 dribbles pass per game. He has had 0.4 interceptions per game, 1.9 dribbles per game, 2.6 long balls per game, and especially 1.1 key passes per game. So if you see on Mateo Kovacic very properly, I think people have always said, no, he cannot defend, he cannot do this thing, that thing. And if you see properly, his defending has been really, really good. And I remember, and Vijay, I think you have also remembered that many people used to criticize his final output, that he's not a good player, he should be sold. And if you see his final output, that's just very fabulous. So anything on you have to say regarding Kovacic when you see these type of stats?
Stats can sometimes be deceiving, right? For me, I look at the players and how they perform on the pitch rather than going by stats and numbers, because you can interpret from stats any way you want. For me, Kovacic Yes, of course, he's not a goal scoring midfielder. Let's take that out of equation. He's not a goal scoring midfielder. So you need to get your mind clear when we talk about these both players. He's not a goal scoring midfielder, but then he brings other elements into the game that is an absolute requirement when it comes to winning a midfield battle for any team. The way that he progresses front sets up Chelsea most of the time, and he's been one of the best person on our pitch this season to combine with Lukaku, right? The Lukaku Kovacic combination has always been lethal. And I'd like to see more of that. And for me, Kovacic is a clear winner over Dembele.
I just want to show one more stat regarding Dembele here, because I think one thing I do want to say is that these two players are very, very similar. And I think this is a stat that I was following his 15-16 season, and he was just fabulous that season. And I think Almighty Blues FC here has to say that his temperament was not good in the bigger games. And I do agree that temperament-wise, he always used to be a bit of hothead, if you remember the Battle of the Bridge. And Almighty Blues Cricket has to say that exactly Kova and Dembele are two players where one should have seen every minute of every game to celebrate them both, in my opinion. So agreed with that. Now, if you see his stats, Musa Dembele, his best season, I'm only taking the best season of a particular player. So again, forget the goals and assists. I do look into these stats at 3.6 tackles per game, 0.4 dribbles pass per game, 1.9 interceptions per game, 2.9 dribbles per game, 1.4 long balls per game. Now, what I do analyze from that is creatively, he wasn't near to Kovacic. But one time, I think, Vijay, you will also remember, is when he used to be with his left foot, Dembele, he just like Kovacic, you cannot take the ball away from him. Like, he was an absolute powerhouse to take the ball away. He had a driving with the ball like Kovacic has. Both can dribble very, very well. Both used to have very good vision with the passes. So I think here, I think we are talking about two very, very similar players. So looking at the stats, do you have any opinion on Dembele, and where does he lack? Has, in your opinion, towards Kovacic, and why do you take Kovacic over Dembele?
I mean, he played behind a very successful striker in Tottenham Hotspur, right? Let's be honest. And Kovacic doesn't do that. He plays behind Lukaku, who struggles to score goals. Tammy Abraham, who scarcely scores goals in the past as well. With people who usually struggle to score goals, but then this guy actually plays with Son and Kane. And if at all there is someone that you would want in front of you, it's them both, right? So conversion becomes easier for him. If you see, it's just 3 goals and 1 assist even for him. But at the same
Hmm.
time, the way that he's dribble past and all of that, his output has been. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a failure sort of an output. He has been successful, but what I'd say is it's not as successful as that of what you would compare with Kovacic. And apart from that, he's not someone who's played in a lot of Champions League games to prove me wrong either. With Kovacic, you get that as well. He's played multiple competitions and he's shown his class every single game that he's featured, be it Champions League games as well. With Tottenham, you don't get that often, and that in itself, degrades the comparison when it comes to Dembele and Kovacic. That's where I believe Kovacic is. Yeah, I like this comment from Almaty Blues FC. Dembele in FIFA was amongst the best ever CMs. Exactly, he's a FIFA player. Uh, Kovacic is more of a real player.
Absolutely agreed, and even I will have Kovacic over Dembele. But one thing I do have to say is that here we are being very unbiased, and both players are just fabulous players, and these are one of the hardest comparisons to make. So for me, I'll always have Kovacic, and that's not to do with Chelsea. It's just to do with that for me. Creatively, Kovacic has he's been much better. And remember, Kovacic right now is just 26, 27 year old, so he still has a lot of good years ahead of him. So I do think that he will cross Dembele in a very big regard. So
And he
with
doesn't
that,
look like 26, 27. That's the thing. He doesn't look like 26, 27. He's got so much of experience that you would, just by looking at him, you wouldn't put him in that 26, 27 category.
Hmm.
He looks already in a 31, 32 category.
And Mighty Blues Cricket, we know he didn't mean about that. So if it's just a joke, we take it as a joke. And just overall thing, I think we both go with Kovacic here.
Yes,
Yeah,
of course.
yeah. So I think the second question has been answered by us. We both prefer Kovacic over Dembele. Now moving on to the last question for today, and one of the most toughest question that I think you're going to like today, Vijay. And this is Yaya Toure versus Paul Pogba. Who are you going to have in your team, and why?
Ooh. Oh, that's actually a difficult one. Toure versus Pogba.
Hmm.
Uh, I'm gonna go with Toure. I mean, provided we're actually talking about these both players in the current scenario, then I'd like Pogba, of course, due to the age category and all of that. But I guess Toure is more of a complete player than Pogba for me. He's got good temperament, first of all, Yaya Toure, than Pogba. Pogba has moments, and that's probably because of his relation to Manchester United. But then he's still a moments player for me. He's got days that he performs at his best. We've seen stinkers from Pogba as well. Toure gives you that consistency even on the pitch. He's a physical beast. He knows what exactly he's doing, where exactly he has to position himself, and he was one amongst those Man City players when Man City was taken over by the new owner, where there was so much importance and pressure on him. That's the time that he played, right? When he started off, I mean, when Man City started under the new owners, this expectation was very high, and Toure was able to deliver that. And we all see what Pogba is able to do. He's not able to, perform under pressure, right? For be it for Manchester United, he's not able to perform under pressure, and that's for me something that will have a bit of impact, and that's why I'd go for Toure.
I think Hayes and Mighty Blue Script has a very good comment that Toure played in 2009 Champions League final for Barca as a centre back. From there to being the best centre midfielder in the Premier League, the guy is underrated among other clubs fans, to be honest. And Almighty Blue Script, I'm just putting a stat
Exactly.
on the screen, and this
That's the
stat
right
even,
statement. He is underrated. Yaya Toure is underrated.
and I think you're going to just see this stat, VJ, and is even going to go over under it because these are just fabulous. I'm just going to put it on the screen, and I think these are just fabulous stats. His best season in the Premier League, and these are just undescribable. So, what's your
Yep.
opinion on looking at the stats?
That's This is the 13-14 stats, right?
Yeah,
Wow.
13-40 season.
4.6 long balls per game.
Hmm.
There you go. And see, apart from this, one thing that we miss out on this particular stat is that the defensive ability of this player. He contributes on
Hmm.
the defensive front as well, which kind of goes unnoticed. Apart
Yeah.
from whatever he provides on the attacking side of things, that's where I think Toure becomes more complete as a player. And Almighty Blues talking about him being part of the Ivory Coast golden generation. Yeah, I'm getting reminded of that as well. Yaya Toure. There was a time where Ivory Coast had Yaya Toure, Didier Drogba, Solomon Kalou. I'm not able to remember the rest of them, but yeah, Sergi Aurier is right now. He's not part of that generation, but yeah, Ivory Coast was so good that time, and he was part of that team, and I think he also led that team if I'm not wrong. And he occasionally captains Man City as well. So the kind of responsibility that he takes up, I don't see the same responsibility taken up by Paul Pogba. And
I
that's
think the
where I
biggest thing,
feel Yaya
yeah,
Toure
just sorry to interrupt
is
here. Just
better. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I think just I want to mention here, like if you see his stats here, I think the biggest thing that I do want to mention is people just forget how good this guy was in a free kick. This season that I'm just put on the screen, this season is a very Frank Lampard-esque season. 35 appearances, 20 goals and 9 assists. That's GA. But if you look at the other part that VJ mentioned very, very well, 4.6 long balls per game, 1.2 key passes per game, 1.8 shots per game that our Chelsea midfielders rack right now. And the biggest thing that I loved about him is his overall everything that he used to have, everything in a midfielder. He used to have the driving with the ball, he used to have the pace, he used to have the burst of acceleration, he used to have the creativity in him. He used to be very, very good putting the crosses into the box. He used to be a very good free kick taker and has put it on here. Almighty Blues cricket that season in the 13-14 season, only Chelsea were the team who beat City both the times. We beat them 1-0 at the Etihad and 2-1 at home. And Matic was part of the team that won at Etihad. So Matic really, in his prime, was a tough player to face against. And I think this was on the Yaya Toure, the stats on Yaya Toure. Now, Vijay, what's your opinion on Paul Pogba, and why do you think that you put him behind Yaya Toure overall in this comparison?
Couple of points: mentality and ability to handle pressure. Um, those are the attributes that I'd say for why I put him behind. See, you as a center midfielder, or if you want to probably call it center attacking midfielder at times, should be in a position to handle pressure, should be in a position to take up responsibility. I think that plays a huge role when you're a midfielder of that caliber. The whole team looks up to you, and this man delivered. Yaya Toure delivered. I cannot turn back and say Paul Pogba did the same. Pretty much it.
I think overall I have to absolutely agree with you here, but just I'm going to put a stats of Pogba season, and I think this is a season that goes very unnoticed. He has not been good at United. Let's be brutally honest. He has been horrific at Manchester United for the money that's paid. But I think this season under Jose Mourinho, the start of his career at Manchester United, I think this season goes under the radar of how good he was and how many chances Ibrahimovic and everyone missed. So if you go towards this season here, for Paul Pogba. Now, if you look at the season very, very nicely, in this season, yes, his goals and assists are not equal to Yaya Toure, but if you see the other stats, he used to attempt 3.1 shots per game, 5.4 long balls per game, 1.9 key passes per game, 2.4 dribbles per game. And overall, if you look at this season, I remember watching Manchester United, and Pogba used to put it on the plate for Ibrahimovic, and Ibrahimovic just used to miss. I think one thing I do want to mention on Pogba, and Mighty Blues cricket has put it very, very well, that Pogba right now in the world for me is one of, if not the most talented midfielder, one of, if not the most complete midfielders I think we'll see in the world. He has got a drive in him. He has got a vision in him. He has got a good pass in him. He has got a good shot in him. And when you see Paul Pogba playing for France, you see one of the best midfielders you'll remember. But when you see for Manchester United, you see a whole different player, which is an absolutely shame for what a player he is. And that's bring me again back to VJ here. So VJ, overall, like at the start of this comparison, you mentioned that Pogba right now is young, so it's tough to make that comparison for the future. But overall, if let me just give you an situation here. Let's say I give you a Paul Pogba of Juventus. So will you have that, or will you have Yaya
Mm.
Toure?
Now it is interesting. I mean, the Juventus days for Pogba was good. I was about to ask you the same thing. You pulled off a Man United stars there for you, Pogba. I just wanted to, also witness the. I also wanted to check out the Juventus stats because that could, give you more insights into Paul Pogba. Apart from that, yes, of course, those are two different leagues, so you cannot really cross compare and say, you know what, he's a better player or the other one is a better one because they are players of different leagues and different competitors. See, teams like Aston Villa are better than Sassuolo and Inter Milan, right? On top, from the top of my mind, I can think of 4 5 teams that can actually give tough competitions for a Serie A title with Juventus. But you cannot say the same for the Premier League. This is different. This is a different ball game. That's why I think. Apart from that, one thing with respect to Paul Pogba is you saw the number of goals and assists. Though every stat of that was higher, number of goals and assist productivity rate is very very lowest that of when compared to Yaya Toure. He's got 20 goals and something in terms of assist. Also, the number is pretty high. But for Paul Pogba, the goal number is 5, even though he had, I think, more shots per game, right? So what that actually tells you is Yaya Toure is more clinical.
I think if you see his stats, like you were asking for the Juventus stats that he has had. So if you see his Juventus stats, like he had in the Serie A, he played 35 matches and he had 8 goals and 10 assists, while in the Champions League, he had 1 goal and 2 assists in 8 games. And overall that season, he had 49 appearances, 10 goals and 13 assists. So as you mentioned, he was just fabulous, like on when you mention about his Juventus days. And I still think that is a better manager than to talk about an overall thing. I think he's still a very, very good player. Like Almighty Blues Cricket has put it very, very well here that I still edge towards Toure, but just about because both players, that's why I have choose this comparison. All these players are very, very similar in attributes, and it's very, very hard to compare among them. It's just that Toure, that season that he had in the City was just immense. And this brings me, Vijay, was the last question. And we have talked about Pogba of Juventus, Pogba of United. Overall, just now, on the final comparison, who will you have over and why? The final thing that you think this player is going to be picked in my team, and that's the reason I have to pick him.
For Pogba, between Pogba and Yaya Toure, right?
Yeah, yeah.
When you say my team, is it going to be my team, which is Chelsea,
Yeah, Chelsea,
or
even if you're mentioning any team, like you want to make your own team, just an situation.
I'd always have Yaya Toure. Pogba for me requires an N'Golo Kante to be very successful. Toure doesn't require anyone. He's that man who makes the other players to play around him. Pogba without Kante is a different ball game, and Pogba without Bruno Fernandes are that great. Right? I'm not saying that Pogba is shambolic and all of that. Let me take that out of the equation. He's definitely a very good player, but when I have Yaya Toure in my team, I look a lot more confident than having someone like Pogba. That's what I meant.
I think overall, absolutely agreed. Has Almighty Blues Cricket has mentioned, and thank you, Almighty Blues Cricket, for the support of this chat today. And as he has mentioned,
I
yes,
didn't
Theory.
I didn't realize Almighty Blues and me were on the same page this much until I joined this particular question fest.
I think overall, as you said, I think it's one thing that I do want to mention is I don't agree with this opinion in Blues Cricket because Pogba is very strong when he's just committed. When you see him at United, he's just laggard, tired, not happy. When he's happy, he's very, very strong. He's not easy to dispossess. And I think overall, has Vijay has mentioned it very, very well. I just think that Yaya Toure is more about his game when he's on his best. There's more pace to him than Pogba. There's more drive to succeed than him than Pogba. And as he has mentioned it very, very well, Vijay, he needs Pogba needs more of an N'Golo Kante, which are very rare to find, to unlock him, as we see for France. And he also used to have, you can say, I think he used to have Marquisio, Matuidi at Juventus. While Yaya Toure can work in a team even if he's surrounded by a proper DM or not a proper DM. And sometimes I think these attributes and especially makes a player bigger than the other. I do want to say that both players were good big game players. Pogba has a lot of goals in the crunch games, and same with Yaya Toure. But I think, as BJ has mentioned very, very well, to unlock Pogba, you need a lot of things to be right in your team to unlock him. As with France, you have Griezmann, you have Mbappe making the runs in behind. You have N'Golo Kante there that can do all the defensive work. You also have a Blaise Matuidi up here. He used to have Claudio Marquisio at Juventus. Sadly, at Chelsea, there are not things available to Chelsea, any other team. Let's say N'Golo Kante leaves Chelsea and he will have to play with Jorginho. Pogba won't be able to work in that. While a Yaya Toure can work very, very well with a Jorginho in partnership. And this is why, as VJ said, I also agree. I'll have Yaya Toure in my team. And I think, has three questions we've been mentioned. I think VJ, as VJ said and I've said, we both will take UCL title over Premier League. We both will take Kovacic over Dembele, and we both will have Toure on a team over Paul Pogba. And coming to the last and only part of the video left, and VJ, what's your thought overall on overall video and overall final comments you want to make on the players and your reasons to put one over other?
Okay. First thing is, it's interesting. I've never been into a channel where we have this comparison sort of a thing, and I had to compare between players and do it. I usually talk in terms of opinions, and that's how it's always been. So this is something different for me. It's a different experience. Maybe a lot of other YouTube content creators would have gone through it, but I haven't. So it was new for me, and yeah, so in terms of player comparisons, maybe I could have come in a bit harsh, but again, nothing against the players or anything of that sort. All these players mentioned here were equally strong, and are very helpful when you put them into a system. And it really depends on how the manager wants to utilize them. That's how you unlock any player, and I think all of them, when they play to their strengths, are very difficult to stop. So, but then in terms of you coming up with these players, I think there's a lot of work that has gone into the background in selecting these players and trying to get their stats and compare them. So I'd say, good work, first of all, on getting these stats populated, and getting me invited, and probably going through this particular conversation. I really enjoyed this conversation, though it's a very short one, half an hour, but it was different, right? I usually I'm someone who usually goes for long streams where we speak for 3 hours or something of that sort, but it's not always about these answering these kind of questions, and this kind of questions always keeps you on your toes. And I think this was one of those conversations. I loved it, and I'd definitely love to be on the channel once again sometime later.
I think overall, Vijay, it's been so great to have you. And overall, don't worry, we are also going to have some long watch alongs and everything. And I'm 100% sure we are going to be back together again. It's been an absolute pleasure for me to be joined by you. And I will do love to mention to the live chat and everyone that please go towards the Sportswire channel and do click on the subscribe button. Do click on the bell notification button. You won't regret that. That's a fantastic channel with great content. You will find watch alongs of Chelsea. You will find all opinions on Chelsea and overall the Chelsea financial crisis, where Chelsea are financially going wrong. We all are going to have a lot of rant. And I think I could have VG on February 1 here when Chelsea have not signed a left wing back. And we are left with Marcus Alonso as speculator as a right wing back, left wing back. Sarr is playing as left wing back. And we are being absolutely rinsed by Edward and Ulisi of Crystal Palace on February 19. And we both are going to rant here, and it's going to get rant by Chelsea fans. And you're just going to enjoy it. So do subscribe on the Chelsea fan channel, every Chelsea fan channel you find, because we have a lot of rant left in ourselves. And on final note, big thank you for VJ to be here. And overall, just on the final note, do let the live chat know that what content is coming on our channel and what things are just going to come overall on that.
Yeah, I actually made some modifications to the way that the channel operates because I used to do a lot of watch alongs and sometimes on the match game previews and post match reviews. Now I'm more into the board side of things, financial perspective, wage bills, and things like that. So that's why the number of content that is being pumped in could probably could have been lesser in the last few weeks. But then there's a lot of background work that is actually going on. And if I might just give me a second, if I might just present my screen.
Yeah.
As for a second.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, so working with these numbers right now, it's not a one-day job, right? So it does take time for me to actually get those data populated. So this is more on the wage bill right now, right? So we made a video just now on this, released yesterday or day before yesterday. So I'm pretty sure, guys, if you follow Sportswire channel, you could get a lot more content to not just the footballing side of Chelsea Football Club or the Premier League, but also on the other side, which is the business side of the Premier League, which is always interesting and intriguing to know. And what it basically translates into is that when you know the business side of things, you to an extent can predict how our respective teams will move in the transfer window. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I think at last, just I want to say that do go and subscribe on the channel, because these contents, financial contents, are one we do not give a lot of importance upon. And these things are very important to know about the wages of the player, how much down we are. Because I'm telling you, when you look at the wages, you will be absolutely shocked at how some of the players are so much overpaid. And still, Chelsea, as much as we say we are well run, we still have a lot of problems behind the scenes that needs a lot of addressing in the summer. And that brings me to the end of the video. It's been a controversial takes. We both have given our opinions. I do hope that you do not be toxic, and if you don't agree with our opinion, put your opinion there. No need to be toxic. No need to rinse us. It's just part of football. Everybody has a different opinion, and that brings an end towards a controversial football takes episode number 2. Thank you, Vijay, for to be here. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you. And on final note, I hope you all have a very, very good day. And do click on the like button, subscribe button, and please keep supporting the channel. Thank you, everyone.